What is up, Fusion family? I pray that you're already back into the swing of things with groups, and that the last 2 weeks have produced some great discussion, both around our study through Genesis and about 1 Kings. We'll talk through chapter 40 in Genesis shortly, but before we do, I'd appreciate a minute or two to remind each of you that Operation KCS is just around the corner. And we have a remarkable opportunity to serve the students in Kannapolis. The special offering we collected the first Sunday in August was a huge help in pulling off providing 2,500 gifts. I would ask that if you made a pledge that Sunday that you've yet to fulfill, that you would please honor that. I'd also like to encourage you to consider adding to what you've already given to help us fully fund that ministry effort. It's a point of pride for me that the people inside of Kannapolis City Schools know the name of our church because of how we've served students and staff for so many years now. All right, well, let's talk briefly about Genesis 40. Genesis chapter 40 takes us into Joseph's life after he's been wrongfully thrown into prison. Yet, even there, God's hand is at work. Two of Pharaoh's officials, the cupbearer and the baker, are placed in the same prison. Both have troubling dreams, and Joseph notices their distress and he tells them, hey, do not interpretations belong to God? Tell them to me. Tell me your dreams. The cupbearer shares his dream. Joseph explains that in 3 days he will be restored to Pharaoh's service. Then the baker shares his dream as well, but Joseph has some not so good news. In 3 days he will be executed. Both interpretations come true exactly as Joseph said they would. Before the cupbearer leaves, Joseph pleads with him. Remember me when it's well with you. Mention me to Pharaoh so I can get out of this prison. But the chapter ends with a painful note. The cupbearer forgets all about Joseph. Now, what can we take away from this story? First, Joseph shows us faithfulness in unfair circumstances. Prison wasn't fair, but Joseph still served others and pointed them to God. We can't always control our circumstances, but we can control our response. Wherever we are, whether that's at work or school or even in hardship, we can be faithful to God. Second, Joseph reminds us to use our gifts even when life feels stuck. Joseph didn't say, I'll serve God once I'm free. He interpreted dreams right there in the prison cell. Don't wait for the perfect situation to use what God has given you. Be faithful with your gifts now, even in the waiting. Third, this chapter teaches us patience when we let others down. We just talked about this in our James series. Joseph asked the cupbearer to remember him, but the man forgot. People are going to disappoint us, but God never does. His timing is not always our timing, but his plan is always perfect. And Genesis 40 ends with Joseph still in prison, but that's not the end of the story. And your waiting isn't the end of yours either. So today, let's remember to be faithful where we are. Use the gifts God has given us and trust his timing, even when people forget. God remembers. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you Sunday.